Good evening, everyone. I'm Terry Moran, and we begin tonight with a remarkable story about the brain, the body, and the soul, and the seemingly unanswerable questions concerning where one ends and the other begins. The woman you're about to meet, she's a neuroscientist. It's her job to discover those connections, to determine why different parts of that physical organ you can see and touch, the brain, have such a profound impact on the way we act and behave, on who we are. But for all her knowledge and achievements, she discovered an entirely new way of looking at the world only after she suffered a debilitating trauma to her own brain, a stroke that she calls her stroke of insight. Look around. There's a mystery here, a mystery locked in the minds of each and every person you see. The mystery is the mind.
If I have found nirvana and I'm still alive, then everyone who is alive can find nirvana.
Jill Bolte Taylor has peered into the depths of that beautiful mystery in a way that no one else ever has. She is a Harvard-trained brain scientist, and so she knows all about the marvelous circuitry and capacities of our brains.
To me, it's absolutely phenomenal that this collection of cells is capable of creating for us a perception of the world that seems real and that feels safe. To me, that is just a mind-blowing concept.
You have such enthusiasm.
Oh, I love it. One reason I chose the brain is I knew I would never be bored. Based on real facts.
But Jill Taylor understands the human brain in another deeply personal way. You see, Jill is a survivor of a massive cerebral hemorrhage, a stroke. It happened 12 years ago.
December 10th, 1996.
Yeah, everything changed. Everything changed. In the course of 4 hours, I watched my mind completely deteriorate in its ability to process all information coming in through my sensory systems. I had no ability to connect what was going on inside of my nervous system with the external world, and I shifted away from being the person whom I had been before.
The stroke devastated the left side of Jill's brain. That's where our logic is, our language, our rational understanding of ourselves and the world. Cause and effect, details, memories, facts, past, present, and future. Jill lost all of it, and nearly her life.
I felt my spirit surrender. And in that moment, I knew that I was no longer the choreographer of my life. And either the doctors rescue my body and give me a second chance at life, or this was perhaps my moment of transition.
The story of Jill's stroke has become first an internet, then a publishing sensation, thanks in large part to this remarkable YouTube video from the annual TED Science and Technology Conference, where she brought along a very unusual prop.
If you've ever seen a human brain, it's obvious that the two hemispheres are completely separate from one another. And I have brought for you a real human brain.
More than 2 million people have seen this talk. She's now written a book, My Stroke of Insight, and she travels the country giving her lecture. We caught up with Jill in Austin, Texas.
You have really caught fire on the internet. You're a YouTube star.
You know, I thought I was giving a presentation to 1,000 people, and it turns out that I was giving it to 2 million people, plus 2 million people plus 20,000 a day. But you know, I think that again, the story has an appeal to anybody who has a brain.
Which includes almost all of us.
Yes.
But it wasn't simply the fact of Jill's stroke that's made her famous. After all, every 40 seconds, someone in America suffers a stroke. It's what she, a leading brain scientist, discovered in the experience of stroke. Not just about the brain, but about life.
It was almost like an experiment that was being conducted on yourself, and you could watch it.
It really was, and it was beautiful. Through the eyes, it was beautiful.
Stroke was beautiful.
It was a beautiful experience for me. It was a beautiful experience for me. It was an opportunity to learn through the eyes of the scientist. Then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm having a stroke. I'm having a stroke. And then the next thing my brain says to me is, wow, this is so cool. This is so cool. How many brain scientists have the opportunity to study their own brain from the inside out? I was shifted out into the experience of the present moment and the power and the beauty of what is right here, right now, that I'm often distracted from because the left hemisphere is so tuned in to all those details.
There's a part of my brain, the left part of my brain, which is telling me who I am in time, organizing my life, moment to moment.
Detail,
where I go, what I do,
that's
etc.
That's right, absolutely right.
What does the right hemisphere do?
The right hemisphere is the big contextual picture of your life. And you're not focusing on all the details, you're experiencing the whole context. So you have both of these beautiful hemispheres. One's designed to do the big picture, the other's designed to take the details out of that, and then you walk into the world and you have both.
And they work together.
And they work together.
And that's what happened to you the morning of the stroke. That as you lost function in the left hemisphere, you started living the right hemisphere life.
Right.
What was that like?
I shifted into the present moment. It was beautiful. And in that moment, my brain chatter, my left hemisphere brain chatter, went totally silent. Just like someone took a remote control and pushed the mute button. Total silence. And at first I was shocked to find myself inside of a silent mind. But then I was immediately captivated by the magnificence of the energy around me. I felt at one with all the energy that was, and it was beautiful there. It's bliss. It's an experience of deep internal peace that is just phenomenal. And to think that we all have that right there in the consciousness of that right mind.
If it all sounds mystical and spiritual, it is. For thousands of years, many religions, Eastern and Western, have taught believers to live ecstatically in the present moment through meditation, prayer, even drugs. And in that moment, so many faiths teach, there is love for all creation and profound knowledge. Jill believes that what they are all searching for, she found in her own mind through her stroke.
You were able to experience yourself as a being in the moment of now, merged with all creation.
And we all have that ability.
Now, you had a stroke that enabled you to gain this insight.
I did.
How do I get it?
Think about the last time you were on vacation. Do you have a different perception of life? You're off the clock, there's no urgency, you can kick your feet up, you can feel relaxed, you can celebrate your children and your family and the beautiful place you're in. What does that feel like inside of your body? What does that feel like? Now you can picture that in your right hemisphere. You can go right there. See, you're there, aren't you? You're there. I can see it all over your face. There's no stress on your face. You're relaxed, you're calm, it's beautiful. That is your conscious choice moment by moment by moment. You can always take yourself back to that perception.
She's a different person now on a different mission. It took Jill 8 years of struggle and agony to regain the capabilities on the left side of her brain: language, memory, logic. She says the old Jill died in the stroke and a new person with a new purpose was born.
We have the power to choose moment by moment who and how we want to be in the world. Right here, right now, I can step into the consciousness of my right hemisphere where I am the life force power of the universe. I'm no longer motivated because of me. It's not about Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor anymore, climbing the Harvard ladder and doing whatever I was doing. My intention is completely different.
Her intention to help us all unlock that mystery, the mystery inside the mind, it all came from a stroke of insight.
I believe that the more time we spend choosing to run the deep inner peace circuitry of our right hemispheres, the more peace we will project into the world, and the more peaceful our planet will be. And I thought that was an idea worth spreading. Thanks.